Hi, I'm Charlie. One very important part of learning English is building vocabulary. In this session, I'm going to give you a 5-step process to help you remember and to use new vocabulary more effectively. Hi, I'm Charlie. Welcome to Organic English. I'm here to help you become more fluent in English. I'll put a link to a transcript in the description below so you can follow along with this lesson. Here's what I'm talking about in today's session. If you're only interested in the 5-step process, take a look in the chapters below and jump ahead. Language, at its simplest, is about combining sounds into words, putting the words together into sentences, and delivering those sentences coherently and at the right time in the right way. Now today we're going to be looking at just one of those parts, the words, the vocabulary. More specifically, we're going to be looking at a 5-step process to help you learn vocabulary faster, to help you build your vocabulary, and to be able to use the words, the vocabulary more effectively. Now there are a few powerful learning techniques baked into this process. And I know that it works. I use it myself. First, a quick side note. And if you want to avoid my side notes and just get straight to the meat of the matter, get straight to the process, just look in the chapters below and jump ahead. Now, a very common question I get asked by my students whenever I talk about vocabulary, and it's a very normal question, is how much vocabulary do I need? How many words do I need to be fluent? Now, if you do an internet search looking for the answer to this question, how many words do I need to be fluent in English? You'll find numbers as low as around 1,000 words, and you'll get numbers as high as 30,000. You'll also discover that you need to define what a word actually is. Do you mean word family, or do you mean an individual word? For example, run, runs, running, ran, runner. Are these individual words, or are they part of the lemma, the family, run? I'm going to kind of avoid the question by saying, I don't think it matters. I don't think it's an important question. Why not? Let me tell you about the world French Scrabble champion. Now, what is Scrabble? In case you don't know, Scrabble is a game where you score points by placing small tiles with letters on them on a board to form words. The player with the highest score wins. In 2015 and 2018, a man called Nigel Richards became the world French Scrabble champion. Now, Nigel is from New Zealand. He's born and raised in New Zealand. This is a quote from the Guardian newspaper. Richards has just won the Francophone World Scrabble Championships after reportedly memorizing the entire French Scrabble dictionary in just 9 weeks. That's an amazing feat, right? The entire French Scrabble dictionary in 9 weeks. The article continues. He doesn't speak French at all. He just learned the words, his close friend Liz Fagerland told the New Zealand Herald. He won't know what they mean. He wouldn't be able to carry out a conversation in French, I wouldn't think. So, amazing feat of memory, but he cannot actually speak French. But you do want to speak English, and you need vocabulary. But clearly, reading and memorizing a dictionary or a list of words is not going to help your fluency, your communication skills. So what does work? There are strategies that you can use to help you learn words more quickly and efficiently. The key is to get new information from our short-term memory to our long-term memory. Now, when you first come across something new, first this information goes to your short-term memory. From there, it's either forgotten or, if it's needed and stored correctly, goes to your long-term memory. Short-term memory, as the word suggests, is short. It only lasts around 15 to 30 seconds. Your short-term memory works when you do something like you read a list of words and then you immediately repeat them. It helps you to obtain information you need at the moment, quickly, but it's very likely you'll forget this information afterwards. Now, our long-term memory has a much longer lifespan. It can be from a few minutes to our whole lives. Now, for information to go from your short-term to your long-term memory, all you basically need to do is to repeat it or to interact with it a few times. So here's a 5-step process that is going to help you. The 5 steps are: notice the vocabulary, record it in context, look it up in the right way, use it in context, and review it in context. Step 1. Notice the vocabulary. Notice the word. Imagine you're on the way to work, you're listening to a podcast in English, or you're sitting down watching a Netflix show, a YouTube video, or you're reading a book or a blog, or maybe you're cleaning the bathroom, like I am here. You've created a situation where your mind is in learning mode. Now this is an important moment. You've noticed the word. It's made an impression on you. It has some kind of significance. Now at this point, a few things need to happen. The things that need to happen: you need to record it in context, you need to look it up, and you need to use it in context to make it stick. So let's look at each step. Record it in context. That means you write it down, or you get it down on your phone, in a notes app, or on your laptop. Science shows that writing notes by hand is more effective for learning. Writing new information out with a pen and paper makes you more likely to remember it than just typing it out. Areas of the brain associated with recall and comprehension are more engaged when students write notes with a pen and paper. I know the limitations of my short-term memory. That's why I carry this notebook. I have it all the time with me. It's got all sorts of junk in it, not just vocab and phrases. It's got my shopping lists, video ideas. It's a mess, but I go back over it each day and I take out what I need from it. Now, it's important that you write down these words in context. Try and get the whole sentence down in your notebook. If that's not possible, in the phrase in which you heard it. And if that's not possible, just the word. Why is this important? Well, let's keep in mind that words can be used in different ways in different contexts. Let's use the example of the word run again. You can run a marathon, but you can also run a company or a business. And run means different things in those two different contexts. We also usually think and speak in phrases and sentences, not in single words. Okay, the second part of that process. Look up new words the right way. I've said this in other videos and I'm going to say it again. You need to look up the word as soon as possible in an English to English dictionary, okay? By using an English to English dictionary, you bypass the step of translating the word in your head. You're making your brain think in English. You're also getting exposed to more English, which is a good thing, and it will help you learn faster. Another technique you can use is to look up new words using Google Images. Seeing a picture is less abstract and makes a stronger link between the word and its meaning. That works for nouns and maybe some verbs, but it does have its limits. Now, if neither of those work, then of course you can go to English to your native language dictionary and find the definition there. The third part of this process, use it in context to make it stick. Use it or lose it. As soon as you learn a word, try it out. In an ideal world, this would mean using it in a conversation with an English speaker. If you can't do that, use the word in a sentence, even if it's just to yourself. Another way of using it, if you're watching a YouTube English lesson, for example, like this one, you can leave a comment in the comment section using the word. You could also write down a couple of sentences, and you can extend the process by using different forms of the word. You can use the plural, for example, or different tenses. For example, if the word is catch in the context of catching some kind of mode of transport. I catch the bus at 7:30 every weekday. We caught the 10 a.m. flight to Barcelona. Or if the word is people, there are many people on the bus in the mornings. Or there was only one person on the bus. This helps you get a little extra grammar practice and can also make those words easier to use in real life situations. It's a technique called sentence mining. It's a great technique because first it helps you create mental associations with what you already know. Secondly, it exposes you to the vocabulary in different contexts, and this helps accelerate your learning. And thirdly, vocabulary is nuanced. You don't truly know a word just by knowing its definition. You need to get to know it in different contexts. So sentence mining lets you master a word more quickly. So moving on to the final part of the process. Review it in context. Often when we forget something, we fail to retrieve information from our memories because we just haven't accessed it in a long time. Unused information tends to fade away. Here comes another side note. If you want to skip, take a look in the chapters below. In 1885, a German psychologist, Dr. Ebbinghaus, did an experiment in which he tested how well he remembered a list of nonsense syllables over increasingly longer periods of time. His results led to what we know as the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. You might have heard of this. Now again, you'll find all sorts of figures on the internet, but the theory is that you will forget a lot of what you've learned in the first couple of days after you've acquired it. That rate will slow down as time goes on. That's the bad news. The good news is that he also found out that you can fight the effects of this memory loss, the effects of the forgetting curve, by reviewing the new information at regular intervals. If you repeat or practice something a lot, the information is stored more strongly. Basically, you are in a use it or lose it situation. And the first few days after you learn something new are the most important. So what are some good ways of reviewing your vocabulary? Here are a few suggestions. Use the vocabulary in a conversation, even if the conversation is only with yourself. Another great way to review or to recall is to share it with or teach others. There's an old Latin proverb that says the best way to learn something is to teach it to someone else. The more you interact with the information, the more effectively you will remember it. So by teaching others and sharing your knowledge, you're actually helping to solidify the knowledge into your long-term memory. Another way of recalling and interacting with the vocabulary is by doing some more writing. Write some more sentences. Write a journal entry. Write a blog post using the vocabulary. Remember that link between writing by hand and memorization that I mentioned earlier? Another technique is to make some flashcards. Again, make sure the vocabulary words are in context on the flashcard, not just isolated individual words. So there it is, the 5-step process to help you learn vocabulary faster and to be able to use it more effectively. So to review, the key points of the process. Notice the vocabulary. Record it in context. Look it up in the right way. Use it in context to make it stick. Review it in context. Like anything else in learning English, this has to be a conscious, deliberate process. You need to be tuned in to what you're reading, what you're listening to, what you're watching, to notice the new vocabulary. You need to consciously think about carrying your notebook with you. You have to consciously think about putting the words in your notebook in context, and you have to consciously think about making sentences to contextualize the new words. It's a deliberate process that you have to do consistently and make it into a habit. Don't forget, I'll put a link to a transcript in the description below. You can use that to help you follow along with this lesson. You can also go to www.organicenglish.club, where there's plenty of other material to help you become more fluent in English. Now, I hope you can put this strategy to use as soon as possible to help you build your vocabulary and advance your English. Thank you very much for watching. Now go out and practice your English.